We would like to create our first charts in Excel, and would like to analyze data for 7 computer-related jobs. The information is from Bureau of Labor Statistics. As you can see over here, you have the link. And let's see what we have. So I'm going to show the formulas, Control, and the grave accent, which is below the escape key. Okay, and it looks like we have some formulas. So we have number for 2016 for each of these jobs. And then we have a number of new jobs that is estimated. And then for 2026, it will be those two numbers added, so 2016 plus number of new jobs. Okay, let me push escape, Control grave accent or tilde again. And then we have percent of growth. So let's double click over here. The percent of growth would be the difference, so it would be 173,000, the blue, minus the red, divided by the red. Okay, so it started from the red, it went up to the blue, so that's the difference. And then we divide by the starting point to see the percent of growth. We would like to show in a chart the data for 2016, 2026, and also the number of new jobs. So we have to select all these data. And also let's go ahead and select the job title as well. When you make your selection for any chart, you don't start from here because you want to take 2016 and so on. So I'm going to start from A5 in here, even if it's a blank cell. So let's go ahead and select from A5 to be able to take 2016, 2026, number of new jobs. And now we are moving down, take all the numbers, take all the labels over here, and we are ready to create our first chart. So we go to Insert tab, and then you have a group over here called Charts. And let's go ahead now and click on the column chart. And we will go in the first option, which is called Cluster Column. As you hover your mouse over the options, it will show you how it looks. Okay, so we click on this one. And that's our first chart. We can move it. Let's go ahead and move it to H1. So it goes in the corner right there. And we are supposed to change the size. So when you have a chart, you're going to get two tabs, Design, and just go ahead and play with the options, just have some fun with all the buttons, change color, styles, and so on. And then you go to Format, and you can play there too. And right now from the Format, what I want to do is I want to make the height 3.5. So I can go ahead here and I can just type the number I want. And then I go to the next option. I push the tab and I can type 5.3. And I push Enter to finalize. Let's create now a bar chart. You would like to show in the bar chart the 2016 numbers and also the addition of these new jobs in column D. So if you remember, we need to have all these labels, then we need to have the numbers, but we also need to have the column headings. So for that reason, we need to be on the same row to get the same number of cells for each selection. So let's go ahead and select A5 to B12. And now I'm supposed to take from column D, so that's not adjacent. So let's go ahead and hold down Control. And now we can go from D5 down to D12. Okay, we have the selection. We can let go the control and the mouse. And let's go ahead and choose from Insert tab, Recommended Charts. Okay, it recommends a bar chart, which is exactly what we want. Let's push OK. But if we look at the chart, we see the orange is the number of new jobs. What if we put the orange in continuation of the blue bar? So we need to change the chart type. Remember, we have on the Design and Format, we have all kinds of options. And if you look on the Design, there is one option, Change Chart Type. You can also right-click, and you are going to probably find that option, Change Chart Type. And from the bar, we have Stacked Bar. The stacked bar will do exactly what we want. And then you have some more options like 100% stacked bar. You have to be careful with 100% stacked bar because all the bars will be put at 100. And the blue would be a percent and the orange would be a percent, as you can see here. So together they will make 100. But if you want to see differences between the computer jobs, this is not a good idea. Okay, so let's go ahead with the stacked bar and push OK. And now you can see how the software developers would be the biggest number here. The next thing we want to do is move this chart to its own worksheet. You don't have to copy paste, but instead you can right click or you can use move chart from the ribbon. But let's right click and let's choose move chart. We want to move it to a new worksheet and we can name it bar chart and push OK. Let's move on now to new jobs worksheet, and we would like to create here a pie chart. To create a pie chart, you are not going to select the headings over here. We just take the labels and we take the numbers. And then let's use this time what's called quick analysis. As you can see this icon. And from here you have formatting. You can choose totals to add, sum average. You can create tables, spark lines. We're going to learn about spark lines. But right now let's go to chart and let's click on pie. That's what we want, to create a pie chart. Let's do the same trick to move the chart to its own worksheet, and let's name it pie chart. Let's click on the Outlook sheet, and now what we would like to do is put on the same chart the number of new jobs and also to put the percent of growth. Now the percent of growth is basically 6% is 0.06, so that's a very small number compared to 10,500. We're going to create a special chart. It's called combo for combination chart. So we want to have this information, and remember we also need to have the job titles. So I'm going to start from the blue here to have the same number of cells selected, and then remember the key to use to be able to select from here. It's Control, so let's hold down Control and let's select now D5 to E12, and let's go to the Insert tab, and we are looking now for the combo. You can hover your mouse until you find the chart. You can also click on the launcher arrow over here to see all charts, and you can click on All Charts tab, and the combo is the last one. Okay, and you can see here the orange represented the percentages. Let's try the second option. As you can see now it looks perfect. And let's go ahead and click OK. And that's the chart we have. The blue columns will represent the number of new jobs, and the orange that is depicted on the right here, the numbers, you can see them on the right, would be the percent of growth. Let's go ahead and move the chart again. So right click and move, and we're going to move it to a new sheet and name it combo chart.